Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? And we're going to do part 3 of this series where we look at flags and capital cities of the world. And whilst we look at their beautiful flags, I give you some random facts about the country as well. So I thought we'd start with Egypt. Now, I don't know whether you know that Egypt is an extremely populous country. It's either just hit or is about to hit 100 million. And Egypt, if you don't know, is in the north of Africa. It is technically a transcontinental country though, because the Sinai, which is to the extreme east of Egypt. If you imagine Egypt is a sort of random square, maybe rectangle, and the Nile runs through it obviously. Then there's a jutting bit, which is the Sinai. Technically that part of Egypt is in Asia, so yeah, it's a transcontinental country, the vast majority being in North Africa, but some of it being in Asia. And it is an Arab country, it's a Muslim country, and its capital is Cairo, Qahira in Arabic. Very old city. Famous, of course, Egypt is for pyramids, although it has fewer pyramids than Sudan, curiously. Many UNESCO World Heritage Sites are in Egypt as well as the, of course, the very famous Sphinx and the pyramids, the Great Pyramid, which is just on the outskirts of Cairo, bizarrely. You just literally get to the end of a street and then there's a pyramid there. It's very crazy. When you see these images of the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx looking as if it's in the middle of the desert, it is not. If the cameraman turned around, or camera lady turned around, there'd be a hotel next to it. Okay, some random facts then. The ancient Egyptians worshipped over 2,000 gods and goddesses. Cleopatra, Egypt's last pharaoh, lived closer to our time than to the building of the pyramids at Giza. So that's a curious one, the fact that Cleopatra, the pyramids were built such a long time ago, which baffles me, absolutely baffles me, to think that, you know, that much technology was being used at that time. That quality of stonemanship and the fact that pyramids used to be covered in gold as well. Absolutely insane, they used to shine in the sun. And Cleopatra lived closer to now than she did to the building of those. Ancient Egyptian bakers sometimes kneaded bread dough with their feet. And these ancient people often referred to their pet cats as mew, which I read somewhere is the reason why in many languages around the world, because cats were sort of taken from Egypt and taken right around the world, often on ships, and spread that way. This is why in many languages either the cat itself or the noise it makes is referred to as something similar to the word mew. I recently started learning Vietnamese and the word for cat is meow. For example, maybe if you put down if you speak another language, is the word for cat or the noise a cat makes in English, it's a meow. Is either of those words related to the word mew in your language? So say what language it is, and say whether the word cat or the noise it makes is similar to the word mew. Okay, where next? Let's go. Should we go to Mexico? Talking about pyramids. There are loads of pyramids in Mexico. Absolutely loads. I love the golden eagle in the middle. Very cool. Mexico, capital city, Mexico City. Okay, a couple of fun facts about Mexico then. So, Mexico, the word Mexico, in Spanish Mexico, comes from the word Mexica. They were one of the most powerful tribes of Central America that first established a city called Tenochtitlan on a marshy island on Lake Texcoco during 1325 AD, which later became the Aztec Empire. And I believe, it's not on this list I don't think, but I believe Mexico City, because it is on marshland, is sinking a tiny bit every day, or every year I should say. Okay, Mexico is home to more Spanish speakers than any other country in the world, because the population of Mexico is over 100 million, and there are only 40-something million living in Spain, for example. But I did read a little while back that the United States of America, curiously, in the next 50 years will probably have more Spanish speakers than English speakers, and as a result, probably, the USA will be the largest Spanish-speaking country in the world. But I have not got the data to back that up right now, so it might just be a myth. However, talking about the USA, Mexico, number 3, Mexico was partly responsible for the creation of the USA. Mexico fought for its independence during 1810 to 1821 against Spain, partially inspiring US President Thomas Jefferson to create an independent republic in North America after seeing Mexico's successful War of Independence. See if there are any others. There are 35 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Mexico. Okay, and last one about Mexico. Mexico City is home to more than 22 million people, so that's just the city, the capital. 22 million. And by 2030, it is expected to be the 10th largest city in the world by population. And alongside New York City is recognized as a mega city due to its huge population, and due to this it's now one of the most important cultural, financial and educational centers in the world. Okay, where next? Shall we take a look at Norway next? Say hi if you are a subscriber from Norway. Hey. And I love the Norwegian flag, it's very cool. The colours and the white outline of the blue is very nice. Oslo is its capital, of course. Okay, some fun facts about Norway. You can see polar bears living in the wild in Norway. I wouldn't want to, because they are very fast, by all accounts. It is one of the world's happiest countries, based on many indexes. There is a hop-on, hop-off cruise along the coast, which I've talked about in other videos. If you include all of the crags and inlets of all the fjords, Norway therefore qualifies as being the second, or having the second largest coastline in the world, Canada being number 1. But if you just do it in straight lines, then it's not big enough. The sun doesn't set in the summer for much of the northern part of Norway, and equally, as a result, in the winter there will be a couple of days where the sun never rises. The capital city is a modern art hub. I've never been to Norway. I've been to Sweden and Denmark. I would absolutely love to go It's gorgeous. Beautiful Wales there. But I want to look at Ukraine. Ukraine, capital Kiev. I've seen a version, we fly if you're from Ukraine. I've seen in Wales a couple of versions of the Ukraine flag with the Welsh dragon here on the blue and yellow. That's something that's been flying around for a while where I live, and I think is absolutely gorgeous. Just a version to show solidarity with Ukraine and from Welsh people. So yeah, rather than having the white and the green, we have the Ukrainian flag and then the red dragon over the front. It's pretty badass, I have to say. Okay, some fun facts about Ukraine. It is home to the second deepest subway station in the world, which I believe is called Arsenalna, which is a metro stop in Kiev, and it is at a depth of 105.5 meters. So the next is very interesting. It says, to give you an idea how deep that is, consider the Statue of Liberty could fit inside exactly with 12 meters to spare. People who live or work in this station must suffer two apparently never-ending escalators every day. The world's longest wind instrument also comes from Ukraine. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. I think it's called the Trembita, which ranges in length from 2.5 to 8 meters and has a diameter of roughly 30 millimeters. Apparently it was used by people in the countryside at one point, far away in mountain villages from one another, to notify one another of events like the start and conclusion of a workday, childbirth, marriage, impending danger, etc. Kind of like the fires of Gondor. Geographically, it is the centre of Europe. So the centre of Europe is located in the Zakarpattia region, close to the Delevoye town. Ukraine has the highest record number of people at a concert, 2008, and it was in Kharkiv Liberty Square, the largest square in Europe, and had more than 300,000 people. And it was for Paul Rodgers, the lead singer of Queen. Well, I suppose the lead singer after Freddie Mercury. Okay, staying in Europe, we're going to go to Switzerland. Switzerland wins pretty cool flag of the day. It's not actually a rectangle either, it should end there, but I guess for symmetry they've made it into a rectangle. But technically it should end there and be more of a square. So there are 4 official languages in Switzerland. The capital is Bern, by the way, which I always get wrong in quizzes. It says French, Italian, Romansh, and Swiss German. The Alps make up almost 60% of the country, which is pretty incredible. They don't use the euro, they use Swiss francs. Francs used to be the monetary currency of France, and then the Swiss version was Swiss francs, but now only Swiss francs remain because the euro is used in France. No tipping necessary. It says the tip is already included in the final price, which is pretty cool. I have been to certain countries like Korea in the world where, get this America, tipping is rude. Tipping means that you feel that the boss isn't paying them the correct amount of money. So yeah, you don't tip in Korea. And then, final fact on Switzerland for today, that Zurich is not the capital city. It's not Zurich, Geneva or Lucerne. Surprising facts about Switzerland, that its capital city is actually Bern, located in the country's west-central part, which is where the Parliament building is found, centuries-old French church, and the UNESCO heritage-listed Old Town as well. Okay, that's Switzerland. We're getting to that point with my terrible, terrible memory that I can't remember which ones I've done in the previous videos. So I'm going to do lots of repeats, but who cares really? You might be asleep. The Czech Republic is our next country. That lovely white, red and blue. Capital city is Prague. Praha. Beautiful place. I went there many years ago. And some facts. The Czech Republic, or Czechia as it's often called nowadays, is the 7th safest country to live in the world, based on the 2019 Global Peace Index. It's in the top 10, which it has been for several years prior. The country's expat community is huge. There are more than 535,000 foreign-born residents living in the Czech Republic, including the ones who have already obtained Czech citizenship. About 200,000 of them live in Prague alone. Beating Wales and Germany, the Czech Republic has the most castles in Europe. 2,000 castles and chateaux are in the Czech Republic, more than any other country in Europe. Some of the most famous ones are Hluboká Castle, Orlík Castle, Lednice Castle and Karlštejn Castle. And it's home to the largest ancient castle in the world, which is the Prague Castle, which is 570 meters long and 128 meters wide. Prague's Old Town is home to the third oldest astronomical clock in the world. Every hour its mechanical processional of apostles delights tourists. I think they talk about the one in St. Wenceslas Square. It's amazing. I admit I stood there and watched it. At every hour, loads of tourists just stand there taking videos. It's quite funny. Beer is a big deal in the Czech Republic. Czech people are the world's heaviest consumers of beer. The first pale lager, Pilsner Urquell, was brewed in the Czech city Pilsen in 1842. And lastly, Prague's nickname is the City of 100 Spires. The Czech capital city has lived up to this name, and there are more than 500 spires in the city, I guess from churches and old buildings. Okay, and our last one for today is the African country of Benin. Porto Novo is the capital city, a Portuguese word meaning Newport. I think we had a video talking about, oh no, maybe that was my Spanish channel, how many Newports there are in the world. So Benin, Benin was once known as the Kingdom of Dahomey. That was his previous title. It is home to the Venice of Africa. Sounds beautiful. The practice of Vodun originated in Benin. I don't know what Vodun is though, so if you do, then put a comment for me. Okay, horrible one next. Warning. Over 1 million people were taken from Benin as slaves which is pretty horrific. But I thought about leaving it out, and I thought, well, people need to learn these things, don't they? To not repeat them in the future. And lastly, Benin has one of the youngest populations in the world. I think on that video I did last month on maps for 3 AM, it showed a map on one of those slides of the youngest countries in the world and the oldest countries in the world. And Africa was predominantly the youngest in terms of all of its population, really. And the oldest were places like Germany and Japan. So yeah, the overall population of African countries is much lower in age than many European countries and, first world countries. Okay. I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click like, drop a comment, share some cool facts about any of these places we've talked about today, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you want to be on my Patreon, check out info for that in the info box below. Thank you to those that have recently signed up, particularly who are viewers from this channel. You're awesome, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone. Take care, and I'll see you again really soon, right? Bye 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 bye.